She was the co-president of her high school class, and she was a good student. She had a seemingly normal social life. And she had a TikTok account, which was called Spirits and Such Consulting. Mostly what she posted on there was anime type stuff and video game related posts. Most of it had like a dark theme, like a violent theme. She had included some disturbing screenshots in her TikToks. One was from a video where high school students like killed each other in school, and there was one where a mentally ill teenager was being abused by his uncle. But I guess it wasn't anything like so alarming to anyone, because it was all part of that anime realm. So, as I had mentioned earlier, her TikTok was doing pretty well. She had about 22,000 followers. And one day, it was February 21st, 2021. And Helen tucked herself in bed. She was able to, get herself ready for bed and get herself out of her wheelchair and into her bed on her own, from what I understand. And the parents had gone to bed as well. And sometime after midnight, so now it's into February 22nd actually, Claire went into the kitchen. She put on some rubber gloves. She got a knife, and she went up into Helen's bedroom, where Helen was asleep. And she proceeded to stab her sister over and over and over. Ultimately, she left the knife lodged in Helen's neck, and she covered her face with a pillow and left the room. It was pretty certain at that point that Helen was unfortunately no longer alive. So Claire went downstairs and left the house. Her parents had not even woken up from this. I get the sense that Helen, she was asleep to begin with, and it took her off guard, and she was nonverbal, so I'm guessing she didn't scream much. I don't know though, but Claire went outside and started cleaning her hands off in the snow. And she called the police and basically reported herself to them. So when the police arrived on the scene, it was around 1 a.m. on the 22nd of February, and they found Claire standing outside officer actually tried to revive her, but it was too late. And at this point, the parents did wake up once the police showed up. Claire was arrested and charged with homicide. She was charged as an adult and was not given bail. A witness came forward right after the murder to say that they had spoken on the telephone to Claire shortly before the murder, and she had expressed suicidal and homicidal ideations to that person. That person is not named. I believe it is like a friend, same-aged friend. But there is nobody who corroborates that, meaning nobody, no other friends or teachers noticed that she was suicidal or homicidal. Now, the case, as I mentioned, has not yet been tried. Her lawyer is trying to get it switched to juvenile court, but in the state of Pennsylvania, a crime such as this is immediately made an adult case. And her lawyer is also trying to get an insanity plea for her. So she is pleading not guilty by reason of insanity. And we'll have to wait and see what happens. Meanwhile, her TikTok account blew up right after this. It's not certain what was the last video on this account. It was either this one of her with a caption wasn't like mentally ill, then she wouldn't kill out of jealousy. Like that, I don't think, because it doesn't make sense. Like, most of the theories for her motive don't make sense to me, except, the insanity one. Because she's 14, she knows she will go to prison. She knows killing is wrong. And that it will just put her in a much worse situation than anything she's ever experienced. And she has to know that. She is not 4, she's 14. Big difference. Okay, so the jealousy motive, we get that, okay. There was the financial motive, that she was worried about her parents' finances. She felt that Helen was too expensive. Or she felt that Helen was too much of a burden on her parents. That was another one. See, these ones, they don't make sense. If you just look at them straightforward, like, yes, I killed her because she's a financial burden. Like, okay, but then what is gonna happen? Then you're gonna need a lawyer that's gonna be more expensive than taking care of Helen. So just saying. And then there is the very popular theory that she actually was like one of the major caregivers of her sister, and it was too much for her. So that's what led her to snap, because it was too much. Her trying to take care of her disabled sister was too much. Okay. I don't really get the sense that she was being burdened, like overburdened, more than what would typically happen in this kind of situation. I mean, I understand that she was definitely having to do more than most 14-year-old siblings have to do, but I don't feel like her parents were unreasonable. I mean, most of the day, I assume Helen was at her school. She went to a school herself. And, from little glimpses that I saw of family in the background of the TikToks, like, I didn't get the sense that things were like that. Like, her father was in TikToks and he seemed like a lot of fun. I don't know. I just don't think that that's it either. And then some people have said she did it for clout, for TikTok. was hard enough. Their life having, having to take care of a disabled child is, extremely